Mr. Adams, do you have anything? Okay. All right. You have the financial report there. Since I'm just seeing it, I cannot answer any questions. Please take a moment to look at it. Ooh.
Sometimes I feel like that bionic man. I just can't run and pick up stuff like he does. Okay, did the copies get passed out of the specifically the income and expense statement? Okay. Yes. Okay, as that's coming around, I'll go ahead and get started. I think most of you have. What you have there is the income and expense statement for October through June, and so it's for the first 9 months of the fiscal year. You got three columns. You see current period. Right at top middle of the page, that's what happened in June. Then year to date is the total October through June, and then on the right hand side is the annual budget, and that's the budget for the year, not 9/12 of the budget for the year, and so you can see. The first number on there that you have given $129,000 and $40, and then the funds that Miss Kathy left us, the next number on there is $89,000, and that shows that going in, and it simply went into the operating bank account. There was no requirement, no need to start a different account for that. Then way down at the bottom end of that first page, you see it says subtotal donor restricted, and a number in the year to date is $29,924. That's the total receipts for designated funds, for our mission funds, youth, the audiovisual equipment, van and bus, all those monies that are designated go in there. And so if you add those three together, you get you see at almost at the bottom, $248,077. That's the total of all the money that's come in, whether it be a tithe or an offering or a bequest or designated. It all totals the $248,077. The next significant thing that you get to is on page 3. And there's where you get to the expenses. And you can see that the again, the year-to-date compared to the budget. And again, that's the annual budget. It's not 9 months of the budget, and so you can look through those and compare those, but it's line by line for all of the expense items that we have. Then if you look at the last page of this report, and you see it's pretty short, but right in the middle of the print. On this page, it says total expenses, and it's $196,218. That's the total that we have spent for those 9 months. Then the last number you see there is 51,859. And that's the surplus. That's the amount of money coming in that exceeded money going out. And 51,000 sounds awfully good. The problem is that 51,000 includes that 89,000 that came in. So if you take that 89,000 out, and pretend that it didn't come in, then we spent $37,254 more than what we took in. Okay, I know that was long for me, so I know it was for you. Because I'm used to me, but are there any questions on the statements or on the income statement? Okay. Yeah, from beginning 1st of October, going through the end of June. But if you ignore the $89,000, yes, we spent 37,000 and change more than what we took in. They are plentiful and they get sadder as you go down the list. Is it 3 accounting units that accounting 3 air conditioning units that we replaced this year? 3, okay, and each of those is what, 5,000 something? Yeah. Okay, so that was part of it. A part of it, and I really hate to say this one, but because y'all really support the church and support the program of the church, and give generously. The tithes and offerings are about $6,000 or $7,000 less than what the budget is. We had some spending that was relatively uncontrolled, I'm trying to remember to remember my list.
Yeah. Remember, one of the things, because we had such a surplus we had, of course, almost $100,000 in our surplus. We said we wanted to spend down in the area of missions and other things. But one of the things we did was the audio visual upgrades and sound upgrades, which was probably close to 25,000, I suspect.
It was about 9,000, best I remember, in this fiscal year.
I think that was the big ones.
What three units did we replace?
I ain't got a clue. So,
The unit in the nursery, the unit, we replaced the heating unit and the AC unit in the facility.
We repaired it, right? We replaced the compressor.
I know we worked on the one that's right over here. I don't know if it ended up being replaced or not. Okay. Was there a question?
Here.
Yes.
Basically, we gotta stop spending money.
Pastor said that we had talked about spending that surplus down, and I should have been more specific in saying over a few years. But yeah, we've we've got to do a better job of oversight and control. Okay,
So, I noticed that the youth ministry line is rather high year to date. How much is budgeted to that cause?
I believe it's 2,000, but I can verify that for you.
That's quite a big difference.
Budgeted 2,000, we spent 6,000.
No. That's
But-
just for this current period, David. You look at the middle column. That's a large difference. Go to page 4. Page 4. Go to the bottom, go to youth ministry.
He's looking for me to like this 6,000.
Oh, I'm on the.
Yeah. The page 4 is the expense items.
What is that on page 1 of the income expense we did use?
That's the income side.
So 6,182's come in designated to that fund?
Right.
Is that what, okay.
Yes.
We budgeted 2,000.
Right.
But they've had some additional, the youth funds had more money come into,
Right.
but we still, so they had 8,182. And we spent it. And we spent anything about that? Yeah, that's almost double.
Actually, at this point, you can ask questions about the report.
That's my question.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. All right. Okay. And what else? Okay.
Any more questions for Gary?
And that was for yours.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, you've got the report printed there. All in favor of accepting the report as presented then, say aye. So opposed, same like sign. All right, accepted. Any other missions? Where's our missions team? You have a presentation, right?
According to line 6,050, I wonder where that is on the sheet, but there is there was $8,500 budgeted, and the mission team is recommending that $6,000 of that 8,500 be used for the mission trip coming up on Friday. To cover, food costs and supplies for, building in the pastorium there. The money we originally allotted in line 6055 of 5,424 was spent in March of this year when we went on the scouting trip and did some repairs.
Which page do you on?
I'm on page 4. Page 4,
Income and expense?
yes, line 6050 and 6055, where it says other mission trips in West Virginia under the mission section. On the far right, it says 8,500 for other mission trips. And where it says, I think where it says year-to-date 5244, I think that's because we've already sent some money for food and supplies for building. I think it's already been sent. I think, if I'm reading that correctly. And we have to have, and there's $200 expense for renting the swimming pool on Thursday afternoon, which is already about to make up that amount.
All right, so this is coming as a motion seconded from the mission team to take the 6,000 in the budget on the other missions and put that toward the West Virginia mission line. Questions?
Australia is down to zero.
My understanding, Gary, you correct. Moscow, when we get back from the trip in August, we'll have a balance of $3,000. Is that right? So there's supposed to be a balance. I don't know where it's on the sheets, but because the idea was to help have half of what we need for our next trip to Moscow.
You're talking about taking 2,000 out of the 3,460.
No, the next one, the 8,500. The other missions,
Yeah. 5244.
no, the 8,500.
That's what the budget is, right?
Yes, 8,500.
So it was budgeted as just generic other missions, and we're now going to specify that it's going to this particular mission.
All right, any other questions? 6,000, yes.
I got a question here.
Okay,
Our math's not that good. We've already spent 5244 of the 8,500.
That was for West Virginia.
yeah, there was, the West Virginia was budgeted right at, was it 5,000? I can't remember, 4,800, whatever it was.
Budget 45,424.
Not 45,000.
5,424.
Is that what was budgeted? Okay.
And we spent
We spent that through the,
56.
yeah.
So the other mission is 5,000, on the other mission is 5,244, that has been spent. We
Okay,
don't have 6,000.
So I think I think what's already occurred is that the money's already been sent to West Virginia. We're just telling you now and asking for permission for that to have occurred. Because we didn't have a business meeting before that occurred. So we had to send $1,500 for food for VBS and us to eat while we're there. And then I think it's 4,000 that was sent for supplies.
4,300.
And then 200 for the pool, so I think it's already been sent. So I think it's like, that's forgiveness, so. Because we've already done, it, because it had to be done, so the stuff was there when we get there.
Basically, you're looking at one line to the other, and you're just telling us what to do.
Right
But it's
now,
already been done, so I asked the commission to do
Exactly,
it.
so.
That's why there's not the money,
Yes.
because it's already occurred.
All right. Okay, the recommendation is to move the 6,000 from the others to the West Virginia mission. Y'all ready for the question?
the expense will move along with the
Right.
budget.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Those who oppose, same like sign. Forward. All right. Any other report or any other that needs to come from a team or leader? All right. Any old business? I'm not aware of any, but is there? Okay. Any new business? Miss Cindy?
I wanted to bring up, we're wanting, some of the ladies are wanting to start a clothes closet. And we've already talked to Daniel and asked about using some of the space over in the pastoral area. And we don't have everything nailed down as far as all the details, but I just wanted to, is that?
Miss Cindy, would you make that in the form of a motion, please? For the start a new clothes closet ministry? Okay, questions?
Has there been a schedule, or is there any ideas about a schedule as far as when it's going to be available, or who's going to be manning it?
Yes, I talked to Teresa, and I'm willing to come over on another close, but it would have to be without becoming, I don't want to go into the pastoral with somebody, and it's somebody that I don't know from our people, from our area, somebody from the church, and of course, there would always be, it's not, no one else has to know that you're in close. And we were thinking about maybe on Wednesdays, afternoons, since Daniel's already here and we're running back to the church, but that could be, we can work that as we get.
So kind of Wednesday afternoon, then maybe by appointment or something?
Yeah. And that could be moved around as we get. I think there's a big need for that.
Who said that? I'm sorry.
Even with our kids.
Yes. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Could we consider starting canned food drive on a regular basis because of the economic situations our country seems to be headed for?
We can, but we'll have to wait till we get through with the closed closet motion.
Well dressed.
Yeah. All right, the question is to start a closed closet ministry. A lot of details to be worked out, but that it would be in the pastorum from space not being used by the youth, and probably will meet on Wednesdays and at other times as needed. All in favor say aye. Those who oppose, same like sign. Okay, so moved. So, Ms. Deborah, now you can, if you want to talk about food ministry.
Well, I move that we have a regular canned food drive, even if it's 1 can per person for Sunday or whatever, to have a backup plan for our community.
Okay, all right, so the,
And limited to like 1 mile or 3 miles in this vicinity, not just anybody coming down the interstate.
okay, so an ongoing food ministry for local. Okay,
Hometown people, or Walton County.
okay. Is there a second to this? I can't ask questions until I get a second. Got a second by Brother Gary. All right, questions? Go ahead.
Where is it gonna be stored? And who's gonna decide, be here to give it out?
Okay,
When they-
I think it'd probably be better to wait till we get the new pantry, until we have a larger area to store. I know people aren't way too hungry, but for right now, I mean, we're pretty stretched in there.
Oh, and I address that.
sure.
That's one thing that Cindy and I actually had talked about, also including it here on a one-to basis. Teaching habits and all that, so we have talked about moving everything here over there, so Cindy has one over here, so the kitchen is built, and then we can have separate there. But we're not gonna have Cindy coming back and forth every 5 minutes. If somebody on Wednesday needs something, then we'll make it available. We also talked about possibly having backpacks available just for those kids who might be in rare status, but if we get it to them in a backpack, they walk out like with their school books and instead of just doing, because we do know that there are some people here that are hungry. And so we were gonna try and kind of just briefly make that available too. So anyway, that we had discussed that when we were talking about where we were gonna do the closed one.
Okay. Other questions? Discussion?
I have a question, this is David. On those I live like right there. So if there was ever a moment, that happened, you could be here, we're available.
Well, yeah, we'll stick Leo on them, no problem.
But it doesn't take us but 2 seconds to get here. That's what we want to do. So we can easily run over if somebody needs something. Is there a refrigerator out there?
Yes. At the moment, there's 2.
And then I'm giving away your friends.
Mhm.
I know you said can't, but that's also,
All right. Do I sense that there may be, as the closed closet ministry grows, that there would be the food closet also growing and out of the same place? Would you all be open to combining that then? Ms. Deborah, would you be willing to amend your motion as such then to include? And Brother Gary, would you amend your second to agree with that? All right. Okay. All right. So we're, question is in addition to our clothes closet, we'll also start food ministry, and as they develop, that will develop also. Okay? All in favor of that then, say aye. Those who oppose, same like sign. All right, so moved. Other new business. Do we have any new business, or are we at a point to call for a motion to adjourn?
Just where we can discuss what might be going on with the extra spending in the youth fund.
New business, you can present any motion you like.
So I have to present a motion to have a discussion.
Yes, you do.
I don't know what my motion is, because I don't have any facts.
Well, maybe we should find facts before we do a motion.
I mean, I don't know how to make a motion without any facts. She makes the motion. I make a motion that we need to figure out somehow what's going on, because we have an overspending of about $8,000 in the youth fund right now for what's in budget.
Was any part of that what we wanted to spend down of the extra surplus that we started the year with?
But
I'm the moderator. I'm not
I
the
think we
financial
have to
man.
approve the motion before we
Sorry.
Okay, so I make a motion that we discuss what's going on in the youth budget.
Okay. And then I would ask our finance team to explain that.
We have to vote on the motion.
Yes, we do. First, we got to get a second.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Thank you, please.
All right. All in favor then, say aye. Those who oppose, same like sign. Does anybody have an answer to this question?
One thing that should be looked at is what is the actual, do we have an itemized breakdown of what is being spent or the youth being spent on?
I believe we have an itemized list for every penny that has been spent of that money. But the question is whether you can bring it out and show it tonight. That's, sure.
Was any part of this overspending part of the $100,000 surplus that we started the year with that we said we wanted to?
I don't think so, but again, I wouldn't be the one to answer that.
Shouldn't anything extra like that be talked about with someone?
My opinion is it should be voted on for the major expenses, not extend the rest of the major expenses should be on for sure, in my opinion. Voted on.
I have another question on it, question on motions, the same issue. Some of these trips and things that we are going on, the price has been relatively low. And I know the price to go to those places is relatively higher. So when we set the price, is it just assumed the church will pick up the other half? And does the church know that's the agreement without it being covered before it is done? And you need specific examples, I suppose I could talk.
Gary?
I don't have a specific answer for that. I can answer the first half of the question. So the way I budget, say, a winter retreat, for example, total cost per day to go to the beach for 2 days with the curriculum and the t-shirt and food was about $20. I charge 75. For the first kid, and then the second I charge 50. So what I try to do is I try to keep it at, they're paying at least half of it, at the very least, 51.5 kind of thing. And that's what I'm charging the kids. So when I ask, hey, I need $100 or $75 for that kid to get on a retreat, you're covering the cost for them. And the budget will cover that extra space. That's what I've done the past 4 years. It's never gone over budget. This is the first year. I think what really killed us was the summer camp. So we had budgeted for only 12 people to go total. We ended up with 22. So there was an extra cost there because the kids would want to go to camp and we grew unexpectedly. So I put the deposits in October, and then all of a sudden June came. That's good 8 months right there where I was like, okay, God, you're growing. One kid's going to camp. I called the camp. They come. So that was unexpected cost. We were saving that money. So I think,
What was the cost per kid to go to summer camp?
I believe that one, by May 25th, if they paid by that, so I get people to come, I believe it's $75, and then if they pay after, it's $125.
What was the actual?
$310. So some campaign that has
So
a
see,
church
I think that's where the disconnect is.
Yeah.
I don't think the church knows.
So.
When we see $75 and $150.
So we can't, so you can't ask, you can't go to him and ask,
Why would I?
because you want the information.
The only reason I know the information now is because I went on the website and I looked.
Yeah.
I knew the information he was going to go.
Sounds like a setup to me,
I said
but
that to everybody at the beginning, and I said I'm gonna charge 200 to begin with, just budgeting.
I mean, I saw signs on the wall since, I don't know, forever, and it said 75, by this date, and 150 by this date. I didn't think I need to go say, is that really how much camp costs? I mean, I
Well,
think the church that's helping support that should know that it's $319 or $310. I'm asking them to pay half of it, but I need y'all to pay the other half.
so,
And then on top of that, we're asking people then to sponsor students when we didn't know we were already sponsoring students. I think it's just knowing what we're doing. I don't
So-
think any of us have problems sending 22 people to camp. I think it's the fact that we thought we were sending them for $75, when in reality, we're sending them for $310, which is still a great deal for 5 days lodging, food, and everything else. I'm totally okay with that. I've been to youth camp.
Right.
I've paid $310, but I also had some sweat equity in that money when I went to youth camp. Like, I did things like maybe a Wednesday night dinner, I helped with that. It wasn't last minute, somebody paid for this kid, when essentially you've already paid for the whole trip with your tithes and offerings. I think that's just something we need to know up front.
I agree.
I mean, that's where I'm coming from.
So that, though, some of that is from the budget that being paid for, those extra costs is coming from the budget. Okay, so we fundraised just under 3,000, I believe, with the Valentine's Day. All 10, 12 people were paid at that point. Then after that, it just started racking up. I mean, since it started racking up numbers, I would have to recruit chaperones.
So is that
And I
3,000?
was told that chaperones were automatically paid for by the church too.
Is that 3,000 and the 6,182?
I don't have any problems, so I don't see it.
I mean, 'cause that's money that's been
In
designated.
May, I was told I had $5,900 left in my budget. So I was like, okay, camp overall was about
And you're designated.
designated, sorry. So that's where I'm like, okay, I'm still good in my mind. Just a month ago, I think I had my budget, a designated that we had. And then I knew we had already raised just under 3,000. So there's obviously some kind of disconnect. Don't get me wrong, I'll take blame. I don't mind that. There's also that sense of I'd like to be communicated by financial team to work better on that this next year. So I think there's no doubt that you've been strong with what money's going to be spent at the end of the day. Just how much of it's going to be. And then on top of that, how much of that is being used for kids ministry as well. You know, how the kids budget.
That was my point was when I'm looking at this, there's not a line for children's ministry. And I know that, a year ago, we didn't have a huge number of kids coming, but Lisa and I are running 15 kids on Wednesday night easily. And there's no line for us. So when we look at the number of kids that we're having and the number of youth to all start with that $2,000, that's not a lot of money.
So, for the new budget going forward, we need to put in a children's line.
Yes.
But
So that's,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying, if you see 2,000 though, you're gonna try to stay within that.
No, what that says, you got to raise a lot of money is what that says. Because you can't do anything with $2,000.
Right, but we haven't normally been going to a large camp like this and all that. So, okay, so I have one other question about trips. So we went to Valdosta. How was that trip funded the same general way that this youth trip was funded? Did the church pick up the extra cost other than what the people contributed? Okay. Do we know the cost per kid to go to the park for those two kids?
$42.
Per day?
No, for both days.
Okay.
So, I was probably like, what was the cheap?
yeah.
But I used 40 people.
And hotel.
Hotel was 97.
I just think that if the church is paying a large portion of an event like that, it should be communicated.
Well, the church needs to put that in policy so that everybody knows that they need to do it.
My understanding is
Because we can't read your mind.
right. So I mean, it's a good issue to have to discuss and say, how can we move forward as a church to prevent that? With the Wild Ventures, again, I thought I had so many money, but I guess I didn't. And I thought most of the kids that came helped out VPS for all week. That's a reward. I regret only charging $5. I wish I did more. But at the same time, I see what fruition did come out of the trip as a whole. And that would be good to see. So there's pros and cons to it, and sadly, the con is the finances.
So when is the appropriate time to develop that policy?
You can develop policy anytime. Usually it's best not to do it in this type of meeting because you got too many people putting input and nothing gets done. So usually you do that with a team, and they make recommendations to the church.
So could we tonight form that team to
Or you can assign it to a team that's already together.
My main question would be, what is the difference between that and saying, here's the budget, stay on it?
Which is good if you got reports on time in a timely manner, yes. That's one of the problems right now is we're not able to get financial information.
I make a motion that the youth committee, along with the finance committee, makes a policy for spending on trips.
I'm sorry, right now, we're still we're still in the other one discussing and find it.
Well, also too, came to mind, we made that decision because we decided not to go to Dolly with the mission trip. So there was some of that decision making was influenced by not going to Dolly. So we only have less than a month.
So if you think that this has been sufficiently discussed to discover what the issue is on the difference, are you ready to vote for the motion to close this part now? All right, all in favor, say aye. Those who oppose, same like sign. All right.
We used to meet the head of like, pastor was in there, Dale was in there. When we met to do the council, church council. I would love to start doing that again, so there's not a disconnect between like what's happening on Wednesday, what's happening on Wednesday. So that we can,
Mhm.
like tonight we didn't know there was a reason.
That's great. There's no problem with that. The last three, me and Melissa showed up and nobody else was here.
I didn't know y'all were doing this.
Not lately because nobody's been showing up.
Let me know when you're doing.
Same.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that is my fault. It's the thing that was in already for the late day today. Yeah, my late. It's like,
Yeah, just so we.
my fault.
That's fine, I just, so we don't have
Right.
wasted
Right.
time.
Let's meet together right now.
Because I'm not working on special budget. And that's enough, I'm gonna get with you, Daniel, about, I'll be with kids about, obviously. I guess you're making a motion, well, they've already, I guess they've already meeting, so I just need to know.
Any other new business?
Okay, I have a question. The youth, I've noticed them, well, I noticed tonight, because when I drove up, there was some on your side street. Once they get on church property, are they our responsibility? So if they cross the street to go to Tom Thumb unbeknownst to us, and something occurs and happens to them, are we liable?
Anytime anything happens, we're liable.
Can I make a motion that the youth not be allowed to go to Tom Thumb on Wednesday nights crossing the street? I would like to make a motion that the students not be going across the street to Tom Thumb once they arrive on property for said youth activities.
Okay.
Because that road is very dangerous, especially this time of year.
Is there a second? Okay. Questions, discussion? I'm sorry, yes.
They probably just need a soda, so we had, a little refrigerator full of even generic sodas, and they can buy it for 50 cents. That would probably solve a lot of lemon frosting or something.
Yeah, I was doing that for a while, and it was like, man, that's gonna take some money out of the budget. Because that's what it was, and I was like, for when we were smaller, I just did it myself. It was like, you guys can't do that.
Who's gonna help Daniel police it? Who's gonna do what? Help Daniel police it?
He has people helping him on Wednesday nights. I know Raymond,
Not at 3:30 he
My
doesn't.
rule is for them, they have a group of 3 at all times, they have to let me know when they get back. Secondly, they can't go after 3:30, so it only gives them a 30-minute window.
well, if we can't have adequate people here to police it, we may need to bump back the time to when people can be here. I mean, I work in Freeport until at least 3 every day, so there's no way I can get my crew here. And I mean, and other people that are helping police that day also work, so I mean, that's something we're gonna have to look at logistically. If you don't
Yeah,
have
but
people,
I've had laws on it come off.
the bus though, and, I mean, you can't tell bus driver, sorry, you can't drop them off at 4. I mean, that's their only way of getting here is.
I mean, I understand that, but they have to be watched while they're here.
Right.
And Daniel can't be in the pastorium upstairs, in the fellowship hall, out front, on that side. And I mean, I don't care.
Okay, we seem to get off subjects about crossing the road to go to the store. You can talk about it just in order.
I saw some very young children crossing the street.
All right, great. Okay, thank you. Any other comments or questions about crossing the road? All right, the question is that we no longer allow, is there an age limit on this? Well,
Well, responsibility, if they can get by car, whether they're 5 or 65, and that's a big deal.
just want to make sure you wasn't limiting adults going across the street.
They can go to the Tom Thumb before they get.
If we have supervisors that are here, say I'm here one Wednesday and I take my kids across the street. If there is a teacher, a church adult with them, then are they allowed to come? I just want to make sure that we cover scenarios.
I am not gonna take any children across the street, so if you're not asking.
I believe Kelly, if they're a supervisor, that an adult,
I think we
Does that mean walking with them or watching?
no, walking.
I think
Okay, just want that clear.
And I think it should be a set number, like it
Right.
can't be 1 adult and 15 children.
Okay, but that's not what the motion is, so.
There's also the issue of some kids are testing offenders, and if you're not in there keeping an eye on them, I don't want that bad reputation with our neighbors across the street. But I was there with some home, I stood guard.
Once they are.
Can we amend the motion to say they cannot go without a church adult across the street?
Are we gonna
You can.
have a certain number per adult? So, I mean, 5 youth is different than.
I'm sorry, but she's trying to get a motion on the floor. Give her the same courtesy she gave you. Go ahead. You want to amend it?
I request we amend the motion to say that the children and youth cannot go without a church adult across the street.
Okay. Is there a second to this? Okay. Any discussion? Questions? All in favor of the amendment to change the original motion, that an adult be allowed to take them across the street, say aye. Those who oppose, same like sign. So moved. All right. Now we're back to the original motion, which now has been changed to no one's to go across the street unless taken across the street by a church adult. Any more questions? All in favor say aye. All those who oppose, same. Right? So moved. Let me just say that one of the reasons we have teams is to deal with issues like this so we don't have to get bogged down in church conference doing this. That way they can look at all the different angles that are being brought up and have to redo everything. So if you have an issue, it's good to bring it up and then give it to somebody to go discuss or a group to go discuss and work it out and bring recommendations. But you can do it this way if you choose. Yes, ma'am.
I know that it was given to us at the beginning of the year when the teams were first established. Where would we go to request a new copy of that if we misplaced ours?
A new copy of what?
Of the committee members.
Okay.
Who's on which committee?
Uh,
So
the-
that if we do have a problem, we know who's on a committee.
Sure. Rob would be the first one, but you just,
Well, it's-
Sure. all right, any other new business?
I make a motion that the finance committee and the youth committee get together, make policy on kid activities, youth activities, kid budget, and youth budget. The budgets are a guideline. When said budget is used up, that means we are being accurate. When the budget is used up by any of these leaders of the kids, of the youth, they will come back and ask for more money or explain how they used it. If the committee agrees, they will grant them more funds.
So the youth committee and the finance committee to create protocol and policy enforcement.
That is the motion. That is the motion.
Okay,
I second.
thank you, ma'am. Any questions?
Are we dealing with, talk about, youth, what we talk about the youth budget, what you refer to?
Youth and children. That is the biggest thing right now that is growing in our church. That is the thing that we need to be looking at. What we're going through right now is growing pains. Growing pains are good, but they're tough. They're hard. To adapt to them, it takes a little time. That's why we need said committee or set committees to meet, because this all came about because our church is growing and doing things. It didn't come about because we were just doing the same old thing every Sunday.
So would this policy only apply to the youth and children's ministry, or would this apply to any ministry that went over their budget and now needs to know?
No, this one will be mainly for the kids, or for the kids and the youth. Now, if we see that there's a need for another group to be looked at, that committee, or it won't be the youth committee, it will be the finance and so committee come together and meet. Anybody else spending money?
Well, we're not right now, but if next year we have 30,000 fire members, we need to do something.
Would this-
I mean.
Three.
This year, they're fine, but
I was just.
She was right through.
Oh. Al,
Good, just to add to what you're saying. So I don't know how many Christian guys are getting into it when we were working on the budget, right? But I'm thinking we have a lot more kids now than we ever had yet. So with the goal of reaching people as the success and the growth of the youth occurred, then naturally we should go back and say, this program is working, we're not going to constrain it more, we're going to say, if we're growing and if it's being productive and we're reaching kids and the kids are coming, then it is going to become a bigger event in the expense.
Right. And that is, like Daniel said, when he had planned the journey, he was hoping to get 10. And he was struggling there for a while to get that 10 back. I overestimated. Go ahead.
It's the change in the amount of youth and children has been longer than 1 year back, when we said, yeah. Yeah, we went from having 30 youth to 30 children and less youth. But the amount has pretty much been the same for over a year.
Well, this year it has gone up slightly. You are correct in that more of them are children or younger, and the youth are more middle school than they are senior high. And this particular journey camp was really his first ministry for middle schoolers, which, you know, I'm hearing all the time. They're too wide of an age difference to be putting them all together. So, yeah. So.
When the group that we just made a motion on meets, would they also be discussing these policy ideas that we were mentioning, like chaperones, like how many chaperones, like on a trip, not across the road? Like when we go on a youth trip, is there somewhere already written?
I have no idea what they're going to be discussing, but they can discuss whatever they want.
Is that something that needs to be discussed, or do we already have like an unwritten rule at the church?
I already have one in place.
Okay.
About, it's not in paper, and I have one for sure in my mind.
I know there is policy. There is chaperone policy.
Yes, for every trip, like the winter retreat, I do one adult every 5 to 7 kids. And that's for both genders. So, I have four guys and 1 female, and I'm gonna get both female and a guy. I get 5 guys, and I'm gonna make sure I'm a guy chaperone. I have 5 girls and 5 guys, 1 each. That's just one that I'm straight on. My understanding is too, in policy, because it's been like 2 years, so I can't double check it. Is I will always go to the church, find chaperones first. If I can't find them, then I'll leave it at PCF, that's fine. Okay. Because when I was first here, it's hard to get chaperones. Now that we grow, not as big of an issue, but there's that policy. I can double check it, but right now.
And Daniel, make sure I'm correct here. They have to have a background check and pass the sexual.
So they have background check, sexual assault things, and they have to go to contact, documents, sign that, and get that.
Okay. All right, the motion. Any more questions on David's motion that we put these 2 teams to work on this? David?
Yes, when it gets finalized, bring it back to the church, that's what we've got going on in the church.
Well, it has to be approved by the church, any policy, so yes. Any more questions? All in favor of the motion then, say aye. Those who oppose, same like sign. So moved. Any other new business? Yes, sir. Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Let's stand and be dismissed. Oh, David Griffin, how about dismissing us, please, sir?
We all focus on youth need to be guided, for the youth need to be taught. For their salvation, pray that you will walk everything down the leads. What it does is we prayerfully support, prayerfully support their lead to the church as a whole. Our goal is, our job, and our profession, we have made to be, is to reach out to others, be a Christian, be a witness to the world around us. Father, thank you for each one of your hands that help in this place. Those consider the grace and mercy that you give to each one of us as believers. With what you gave and what you sacrificed for each one of us. So help us to be a witness. Step out from this place, God, and direct us. Strengthen our witness. Use us for your service. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.